The following is a PodcastOne.com production.
Hey, Dr. Drew.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, our new podcast, the Mike and Dr. Drew Show.
Yes.
It's a solid one, isn't it? Head on over to PodcastOne.com. What do we talk about? Wait, let's see here. Medieval torture. Syria.
Iron Maiden.
And not just the band.
No.
My gay sexcapade in Palm Springs.
Yes.
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
Mike asks when we stopped banging each other as relatives.
Yeah, when did incest end? It's all at PodcastOne.com. The Mike and Dr. Drew Show. Oh, it's amazing.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch and an occasional side trip to Mexico, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, from the OnIt.com Total Human Optimization Studio, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, it's Steve Austin coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go on record right now. I'd like to paint a little audio picture for you guys. This is the earliest we've ever recorded the Steve Austin Show, and I'm not a morning person. Mo, are you a morning person?
No, not at all.
Man, I got up at 2 last night, because I don't sleep worth a damn anyway. Got up at 2, fiddle-fucked around, finally got back to sleep, and about 5, my alarm clock went off. The crows started going crazy outside my window. And I had to get up anyway, but those motherfuckers were really pissing me off. Every now and then we get those morning doves, and they'll coo, 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 and it's very relaxing. But these crows are like, get the fuck out of bed. So I got my ass out of bed, started drinking coffee, took a shower, ate breakfast, and I had to rush through my breakfast. A bunch of eggs, some cheese, and toast.
Are you still on that diet? Was it all egg whites? Or are you?
Yeah, it was all egg whites. But the problem was, man, I didn't have a chance to take care of my business before I got on the road.
Oh, how's your CGF right now?
Well, I mean, it was good, but I had a CGF of 10 on the freeway, and I'm starting to sweat bullets, brother. I mean, I need to go. So, I mean, the traffic wasn't too bad. I left the house early because I didn't want to be late for our guest today, Pat O'Brien. And I tell you what, I got here. Made it to the facility. I was the first person in the bathroom today, so the thing didn't have to do a whole lot of cleanup like some of the truck stops I've been through. And CGF at 10, it was almost a religious experience. And I was on one of those toilets. It's automatic. I guess a timer goes off once you sit on it, and then some of it just flushes automatically. Well, you know, I wasn't through. That second wave had hit. And so then you got this water splashing up. It's like, you know, like when the women sit on one of those bidets or whatever you call it, and the water squirts up and washes their gimmick. That happened to me right in the middle of what I was trying to take care of my business. So anyway, 2 phases of a CGF-10, took care of business, and it is what it is. I feel good now.
Oh, you know, dude, those automatic flushes really fuck with me. There's some switch that goes off in my head. When I know I'm flushed, I'm done, and my body shuts off. So if it automatic flushes me, it cuts me off in the middle, I can't finish.
You can't finish?
No.
Oh, dude, I was sitting, that thing went off, and I was about to get up, but then that second wave hit. When that second wave hit, it's like being on cruise control, and then, you know, the shit's on. No pun intended, the shit's on. But, hey, we got our guest today. And he doesn't have all day to be with us, so we're going to lead right into him. And we start off with a bunch of damn shit stories. I got a story I want to tell about this guy. First of all, Pat O'Brien, legendary sportscaster, is my guest here in the studio today. Pat, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Steve, brother. Good to be with you again. Man, it's like we were together a long time ago. And it's funny how different people connect. And I think we connected then, and the minute I walked in, we connected now. Thanks for getting up early for me.
Oh, dude, anytime. You know, it goes back to, I can't remember when it was, but I guess you were with Access Hollywood. Business for me was really starting to pick up. I was starting to get really hot as Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I guess you were with Access Hollywood at the time. We did some interviews, and I'll never forget, you know, when we were crossing over into mainstream. And a lot of times when you go out and do mainstream interviews, people either don't take you seriously or talk to you with kind of a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, or they're looking down their nose at you. They talk down to you. And you never did that, Pat, and I'll never forget it. And you always took care of me. You gave the business credibility and respect. I didn't know if you were so much a wrestling fan, but a pro's pro. I never forgot that, so I'm here to tell you thank you very much how you treated me back then.
Well, one human being to another. But, yeah, I am a wrestling fan. You know, I used to go out and hang out with these guys. I've known Hulk all my life. I've known you. And I know what you guys went through. I went to a training table one time with at a big match, and these guys are eating 5 or 6 steaks before they go on. And no, it was. I had a lot of respect for what you do.
Hey, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Me and Mo started off. We talk about all kinds of stuff.
By the way,
here.
can I tell a story about not holding it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. But first, I was going to say, you've covered Super Bowls, World Series, NBA Finals, Olympic Games, NCAA football championships, anything and everything. You've covered it. I wanted to ask you specifically, were there any times at some of the most important sporting events in world history that nature called?
I usually try to time it out correctly. Yeah, but I'm pretty good at timing it out. Bobby Cox, the legendary manager of the Atlanta Braves, told me a story one time. After they got into the National League Championship Series, they won that, and now they're going to the World Series. He's got his uniform on. He had a few beers in the clubhouse. He's driving home. And I don't know if Bobby wants me to tell this, but I will. He's driving home, and he has to pee. And you get that feeling on the interstate. Yeah. And somebody got to invent something.
Yeah.
Somebody should invent something for guys, but maybe it's you and me. We'll put our name on it and invent it. But anyway, he's driving home, and he can't, and people are pulling up. Hey, Bobby, beep, beep, beep. Way to go. We're going to World Series. And he said, oh, my God, what am I going to do? He couldn't pull over, traffic all over the place. And he's not going to pull over the side of the road because please don't do that. Folks
right.
Can't do that anywhere but South Dakota and Texas. But so now he says, you know what, I just got to go. It was that bad. So he did. Just went right in his pants. So now he's going home, which is fine. And now he's going, well, I don't know if it's fine. Just don't do it in my car. Don't do it in one of my cars. But so now Bobby gets home, and he sneaks into the garage. And the garage door opens and closes. He drives in and decides to sneak in the kitchen door. You know, we've all done that. And he looks at his pants are just soaked. You know how
right.
And he walks in and he turns on the light, and what does he hear? Surprise! His wife had put together all his buddies and friends to congratulate him for getting to the World Series, and there he is, having wet his pants. God love him.
Well, anything ever happened to you while you're doing what you got to do?
No.
Worldwide audience. No, you've always...
It's amazing. I've never, for all I've done, I've never said fuck on the air.
Right.
And I've never really had that problem. For some reason, I was able to... I did it long enough where I go before and after, but... it's never happened to me.
I was listening to a lot of your stuff on YouTube, and of course, to know you from all the work that you've put in, and saying "fuck" just now. What's your worst audio flub in the history of your career? Have you ever had one of those days? Because every now and then, Mo's been here with me today, here in the studio. Many times, I'll just get tongue-tied and cannot pronounce words. Does that ever happen to you on the big stage?
Well, my biggest audio flub was my voicemail, but that's another story.
Well, yeah.
But that's unless you're the History Channel, I don't want to relive that, although it did change my life. And I was in a blackout. But no, I think I'll tell you what, Steve, I learned very early from David Brinkley that the microphone is really a career suicide weapon. It's got bullets in it.
Right.
And I've been pretty good. I've never said that word on television. I've made mistakes. I mean, God knows on TV, but I've never been caught off mic saying anything bad. And if I had been, it would have been on the internet by now. So no.
But going back to the day, I always do this show, Pat, for the working man, and for some of my young listeners who might want to get into broadcasting, sportscasting, from behind the mic, in front of the camera. You started off as a government major. And an economics major?
Yeah, I started off, I grew up in South Dakota, so we were kind of Abe Lincoln poor. My dad worked at a meatpacking plant, and he was an electrician, made about $40 a week. Somehow we always had cars and food and everything we needed at home. I worked, when you grow up in South Dakota, it's pretty much a one-industry town. Everybody really worked at John Morrell and Company, which is the biggest meatpacking company in the country. And I spent my senior year in high school. I was in a band. We can get to that later. But as a job, I worked where my grandma did and my dad did at John Morrell and Company and shoveled hamburger. And have you ever shoveled hamburger?
Never shoveled
hamburger. No, it's like shoveling bubble gum. Just try that.
That's fun.
And I came home one day, and I was just dead tired. My dad says, man, you better find something to do. It doesn't involve lifting anything. So I got but I went to college and I studied political science. Didn't know I didn't know where I was, and I found a mentor who took care of me and showed me the way. And then I went to Johns Hopkins School for Advanced International Studies in Washington, and started working on my master's degree.
No, hold on. What kind of student are you, man? You seem like a pretty bright.
Well, I graduated from high school like everybody else with a 1.7. They kicked my ass across. Well, I was in a rock and roll band in high school.
Okay.
I was never there.
Got you.
I mean, and my idea of summer was I just did this in the winter. I was never in school, so I got a 1.7. I straightened up in college, and then when I worked on my master's degree, I was up at 3.9 and 4 point.
Yeah.
But then I walked into a TV studio, the Huntley Brinkley Show, at the age of about 20. And I fell in love with the business. The energy of it was perfect for me. And I did the work. For all of whatever people think of me now, I am literally a working class hero. I mean, I did, and people don't do this anymore. I was a researcher. I got coffee. I did what I was told. Then I was a writer. I was an assistant. I was a producer. I was an assignment editor. I was an executive producer. I was a local reporter. So I did all that work. I did the right stuff. You know how when you build a fence on your ranch?
Yep.
If you don't get those corners right, and if you put too long a piece of wood without a bulkhead, that fence is going to break.
Yeah.
Anybody who sits on it, so you got to do that. I built the foundation in the fence.
But it wasn't
my career.
It wasn't your goal to get in front of a microphone.
No, never. I never thought that I could do this. And I had a professor when I was struggling, and when I first went to college, I was a history major, and I was getting D's and F's. And I had this professor named Bill Farber, God love him. And he came up to me one night, and he said, or one afternoon, and it might have been night, he said, I'm Dr. Farber. He's about 5'3". And I said, yes, I know your name, sir. He said, you're Pat O'Brien. I said, yeah. And he's a legend on campus.
Right.
And he says, come over to my house for beer. What did I hear? Beer. So I went over to his house, and he said, Pat, you have some skills that I don't think you're using. And I said, what would that be? He said, I watch you over at the student union telling stories and that sort of thing, and I think you have some communication skills that you don't know about. And he put me on that road. And he said, I don't want you to go to communication school. I want you to learn history. And he literally gave me a syllabus or a pattern for my life, an outline,
right,
almost an architectural diagram for my life. And here I am. I found I was pretty good at it.
Hey, man, when you're going into, hey, let's call it the Super Bowl or call it the Olympics, what kind of research and prep do you have to do before you undertake that task? That's a shitload of work.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to do any, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, if you go into a wrestling match, you don't have to, prep because you know what you're doing.
Right.
Like you almost beat me. I tried to hit you this morning, and you were going to throw me against the wall, weren't you, motherfucker?
I was kidding. I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person.
Look, I wasn't afraid to do it. But, no, I mean, if you get to the Super Bowl at that level in your life or the Olympics, if you have to prepare, then you shouldn't be there or you won't be there. Olympics a little different because there's 170 sports and names that are unpronounceable. In fact, my rule from doing 8 or 9 Olympics is whatever I say, there's no Steve Austins at the Olympics. Their eyes Rahman Hanahakabatsakajuke. And I say, I said, whatever I say their name is the first time, that's their fucking name, okay? Go with it.
What's the greatest sports achievement you've witnessed while you're at work?
Wow, I mean, I've done so much. I think probably if I take one as a, as a landscape, it would be Michael Jordan. I mean, because we thought, and I go back far enough to the Dr. J days, and we thought, well, when Jay leaves, what's it going to be? Then Magic and Larry come by, and I was all in the middle of that. But Michael Jordan, but when Michael Jordan came on the scene, I was with him very early in his career and stuck with him. He not only changed sports, he changed like the Beatles, he changed the whole deal, and he erased finally erased the line between entertainment and sports, as you helped do, by the way. Because it used to be sports was sports, entertainment was entertainment, news was news, homemaking was homemaking,
right,
engineering, excuse me. Now it's all the same. And Michael Jordan just transcended, like Babe Ruth, transcended the sport, and backed it up. I mean, this dude backed it up, and that's what, you can do anything you want in life. I don't care if you're digging ditches or driving a John Deere or doing what. There's a skill to all that, and the good ones back it up.
What's your favorite sport to cover?
Basketball, probably. I love basketball. I love doing the NBA. I love doing the Final Four and all that. But, I like those team sports because that shows you. I'll tell you a great story. Michael Jordan first arrived at North Carolina. He'll like us. He first arrived at North Carolina. Dean Smith, who was a legendary coach there, said, now all you boys here now are McDonald's All-Americans, but now North Carolina, your name's not on your jersey. He did the "there's no I in team" deal.
Yeah.
And Michael raised his hand and he said, "But coach, there is an I in win." And he was a freshman, and he knew what he was talking about.
Let me ask you, I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. Where do you see a lot of similarities between Kobe and Jordan, and where are they different?
The similarities are that Kobe and Michael Jordan have the same, they're cursed. They have to win. You know that feeling, Steve, where you have to win. And anything important there? No. Okay. The feeling that you have to win, and they're both cursed with that. I think over the long haul, Michael's a little more talented defensively and offensively, and I wouldn't put them as equals, but they're certainly in the same conversation. I mean, Michael Jordan's a different kind of dude. He was on 9 all-defensive teams. You know, he knew what to do about everything. And Kobe is, let me tell you something, Kobe's obviously a Hall of Famer, and he's the best basketball player on the planet now, even with LeBron James playing. But they're both cursed with that thing where you got to win. You know, you got to win.
Man, I tell you what, I'm not a big Los Angeles Lakers fan, but I tell you what, if Kobe Bryant is leading a team, if he's on that team, his competitive will to win, his desire to be the best, to come up with that W, it's hard to bet against that guy. I give him that. He's not my favorite cat in the world, but he's a badass basketball player.
Well, he's a badass guy because he knows everything about the sport.
Right.
If I grab you, again, I go back to when if I grab your arm and try to turn you, around, you know enough to spin and grab my other arm. I mean, you know what to do. And he knows everything about basketball. And by the way, you come with me. I got great seats right across from Jack there in the third row. And we'll sit there and smile and get our picture taken by the paparazzi.
Well, talking about the basketball greats, let's talk about Dwight Howard. I look at that guy who's such a physical specimen, but will he ever have the basketball smarts and maturity level to be as great as he can be?
I don't think so. I think
he's great now.
Yeah, he was great, but he lost his focus somewhere along the line. I just think when he was here, he just was kind of an empty uniform. And I like Dwight, and I've been around him, and he's huge.
Yeah.
The guy's got all the talent in the world, but there are some guys, man, if you want to win championships, you got to put it all together. You got to put the heart, the soul, the blood, sweat, and tears.
The work.
It's the work. And I say, no matter what you do, you look around wherever you are out there, and the guys that are making it, the guys that are having, who are buying the rounds at the bar at the end of the day, those are the guys who put the work in.
What's your take on Major League Baseball these days? More PEDs, more suspensions.
I think everybody should be on PEDs.
I do too.
I agree.
They need to just go ahead and say, here's a level, don't go above this level.
Yeah. I used to hang out with Timothy Leary, who invented LSD in the 60s and all that kind of stuff. And he used to say that everybody should have a name tag on them that said exactly what the drug they were on right now. Like a name tag that said, I've had 2 beers and a martini and 5 shots,
right?
1 Jack Daniels. I'm on an antidepressant and I just took some acid. And then now I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
But in baseball, there's such a suspicion. Guy hits a home run or goes on a tear right away. What do you think? He's on something. Yeah. And I feel bad for guys like Jeter who are clean. And if Jeter goes on a tear, as he did last year, they say, well, maybe he's doing something. I don't think he is. But, look, the greatest time in baseball was when McGwire and Sosa were hitting them out of the park.
Dude, when those guys walked to the plate, you knew something was up.
Yeah.
They were jacked. Big traps, gigantic forearms, yoked up, head the size of a basketball, and baseballs are flying over the fence.
And I'll tell you what's changed baseball and what changed all the sports, the Sports Center, is because Sports Center and highlight shows only show highlights.
Right.
And when you can show baseball games now and that ball's not flying out of the park, people like to be jump-started when they go to sporting. If you're spending $100 to go to a game, or $120, family of 4, popcorn is $10, a beer if you drink is $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, and parking you're going to spend $500-$600. So if you don't see a home run, you got screwed in your own mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it also sucks when you go to the track meet and you're seeing guys that are running 10.5s. You want to see people pushing the damn records to the limit. because I'm down with the PEDs. Just keep it at a certain level. Well, I like to see records broken. That's just the truth of the matter.
We've become a country of more. What's your number? More.
Right. And
it goes everywhere you look. It's more, 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 more. No one is ever satisfied with what's going on. I believe that in what I went through, what I go through now, is that people should live for the now, live for today.
Right.
Yesterday's gone, you ain't getting that back. And why worry about tomorrow? Because don't write that script because we don't know what's going to happen. And the hardest thing I think to do is to live right now, live for today, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and make no mistake, I didn't mean to cut you off for a moment. I'm not saying I want to see every athlete under the sun gashed to the gills. I need a little performance standard or level to aid in recovery and a little bit of performance, but for Christ's sake, a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't Tommy John surgery performance enhancing? Isn't working out performance enhancing? I mean, let's make a definition of it.
Yeah, but not.
By the way, you shouldn't. Here's the problem, and you know this. Steroids, the dirty little secret is they work. And anabolic steroids work, and then they eventually kill you if you take them too long or ruin your brain. But, what these days doesn't.
Mo, jump in.
I was going to say painkillers. A lot of players that can't play, they'll take painkillers, and it's got to be a form. It's like you're numbing up your body so you can perform, just like you're taking a drug that allows you to perform at a higher level.
Yeah, and don't tell me that and painkillers is a big problem. And they used to just take them in. I used to be in locker rooms where they just take them out of a big bowl and shove them down their throat. They didn't know the difference. But they do that. Don't tell me that when you see a player get injured and he goes off the field, then all of a sudden, hey, here he comes back. Don't tell me you haven't given him a shot of lidocaine or whatever they do, cortisone, because that's just not the reality.
Did you cover a couple of Super Bowls, one Super Bowl?
I hosted 4 Super Bowls.
Hosted 4. How has the game changed to you from when you started watching to now?
The bigger, faster, better. I was back in the Montana era. By the way, my career's not over yet, but when I was hosting those, I was back in the Montana era and the Elway era.
Montana, greatest quarterback ever?
Yes.
Go ahead.
No question. The game has gotten so fast. I mean, you realize, Steve and Mo, you guys realize. I said earlier about highlights. We're a country that lives in slow motion now because we like to watch our replays. But when you go fast motion, you got that ball. I'm going to put a little clock on this. You got 4 seconds to make a decision. So now you got the ball. Now you got 2 400-pound guys racing at you, doing a 3.540, and now your receiver's not there. Bang! Now, you're done. You got to. By that time, you have to make that decision, and that's the game. It's a quarterback's game. It's so fast, and you never really see real time much anymore. But it's changed, and the fans have changed, and the NFL has changed. I mean, the NFL is just the biggest thing on the planet. They can't go wrong.
Well, what are they going to do with all these the head injuries, the brain stuff? It keeps compounding at a seasonally basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's moving forward, and I think they're trying to make it so. See, here's the problem. They're trying to, and you're right. Here's the problem. They're trying to make it a nonviolent game when it's a nonviolent sport. Now you can't do both. I mean, these players, and you know a lot of them. So do I. They know what they signed up for. They signed up for hell on wheels, man. They signed up to get the living shit beat out of them every Sunday. They signed up for that. They wrote down their name on a line and said, this is what I want to do. So they know what they got themselves into. So the NFL's got, and the brain thing is a big deal. And there's about 2,000 people that are suing them to get a piece of that pie.
A lot of guys are starting to go low now on players and taking out their knees. And,
you see that play this weekend?
Yeah, that happened with Dustin Keller, the tight end out of Miami.
Brutal.
And the defensive back, he was right. He said, you know what? I get fined if I go high, if I go at the head. If I go low, that's what you want me to do. So
that's the other thing. Nobody knows, Mo. Sorry. Nobody knows how to play the game now. They don't know if their shoulder, they go in, high, low. I think a quarterback would rather get hit low than high, though. I'm sorry, high than low. Yeah. They don't want the knees to go.
They expect these players to make split-second decisions when this is happening in real time and it's happening so fast.
You can't do it. Yeah. Now you always do bang, bang, play. You ain't got time to think about it.
Yeah.
You do or you don't. But now people are second-guessing because of the ramifications, the penalties, the fines, the bullshit.
And if you second-guess in the NFL, that's when you get hurt.
I mean, it's like I was talking to Jay Moore a couple of weeks ago. I mean, give them leather helmets. You might slow some of the injuries down. They're just overprotection.
Let's just put this in the mix. How about rugby?
Yeah,
those guys play and they don't substitute, and they tackle and they do the same thing. Nothing.
Yeah, different dynamic from space and collisions, but damn sure a very tough sport.
And talk about they still tackle. It's a different dynamic,
right?
I mean, the collision in who was it that told me? If you want to know what football is like, just run into a wall from about 5 feet as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Just hit it, bang.
Yeah.
See what that's like. And they do that every day.
You know what would really help if the NFL started taking care of their veterans? If these guys got tremendous health care and didn't have all these bills adding up, I think it wouldn't be as much as
You ever seen a football player, a veteran, not limping?
No.
Wait, was your head beat up so much you can't think?
No, I was just thinking, not only with the injuries, guys got to learn how to save money. A lot of guys back in the day were before the money. A lot of guys in a game of pro wrestling were before the money. But, yeah, everybody's limping. But, you got to save your money. I know they do these symposiums, these camps, these seminars to tell these guys, hey, you came from nothing. Now you're making $5-10 million a year.
The money has changed the game.
Yeah.
How many players have I seen that get their first check and buy a big house and 2 big cars and what's the song? 8 cars, big house. Who does that song? Then they got a posse, and that's where your money goes. As soon as you got a group of guys coming over, eating your food, drinking your beer, doing your drug, whatever you're doing, then you're in trouble. Guys don't save money. Well, when you're 20, you don't think. When you're 20 and someone hands you $25 million in cash to come play.
They're thinking about that gross. They're not thinking about the net. They're not thinking about paying Uncle Sam, paying their bills, and then say, hey, let me spend 10% of this, put the rest of this shit in the bank. They're not thinking that, but that's what they should be.
And
thinking.
Retirement comes pretty damn early in football.
You
like
never know
5 years.
when it's going to end.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you no money, big money, no money.
And not everybody's going to be a broadcaster. I mean, they all think, well, I'll go to TV. Television's harder than playing.
It sounds good. Hey, I want to ask you about that when we come back from a break. Talking, reading, calling stuff on the fly, reading copy on a monitor, producers in your ears. I'm talking to Pat O'Brien. We're going to talk about that. All kinds of bullshit when we come back. It's early in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Word from our sponsors, the people who keep this show on the air for free. Steve Austin coming back.
Hey, it's Adam Carolla from the Adam Carolla Show. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch and bet on games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball as well. BetOnline has NHL, MMA, and championship boxing, all your betting needs in one place. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. So have some fun. Make these games and these events and these combat sports a little more interesting with BetOnline. BetOnline. The game starts here.
Welcome to the Steve Austin Show.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that. Oh, yeah, Steve Austin coming back with Pat O'Brien and a little bit of sports talk. All kinds of good stuff going on this morning. Pat, you're alive and well, and man, you're spry as a sumbitch. Are you a morning person?
I get up at 4:34 every day.
What are you doing, man? You're hard as a rock. We hugged a while ago. You're hard as a damn rock. You're in shape. What are you doing?
I'm in good shape now. I've always been in pretty good shape. I work out, do a little cardio, do a little lifting. I do about a couple hundred push-ups. I do 500-600 crunches every day. But you know what I do the most is I've learned how to settle myself down before I walk out the door. Now, you did the wrong thing this morning. You rushed your breakfast down, jumped in your car, and now you're, the whole day. You got to take that little, if you can do it, 5 minutes and just clear the house out and just say, I need some Steve Austin time. And just sit there and you call it meditation, whatever you want, but just to kind of settle yourself. And if I don't start my day that way, then I'm fucked.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm type A like a sumbitch, man. I look at my clock. I mean, I was first guy here. I'm waiting in the hallway. Guy had to unlock a door so I could come here and wait by another locked door so I could be Mo and you to the studio. I ain't got time to relax every now and then. Well, you know what? What I do, Pat, my wind down is at the end of the day. I got a 96 Suburban. I load up my dogs in that thing. I live over by the marina. And I'll make a couple of laps, drinking my Pellegrino water with my dogs hanging out the damn truck, checking out all the boats. That's my relax. I can't start off in relax mode. I got to be go.
Everybody has something, and that's good. I mean, if you don't have anything, find something. I mean, it's a matter of I used to relax by drinking, which was a bad idea. And, I don't have to do that anymore, thank God. But I like to drive it around you. That's cool. The dog's never going to turn on you. So
dog's never going to. Well, you got to.
By the way, the day they do, you put those babies down.
you gotta pick your spots, because don't get me wrong, I'm riding around in just a little neighborhood. You can't jump on the streets of Los Angeles, California, in rush hour traffic and expect to relax. That's bullshit. I love the weather here in Los Angeles, but I hate the traffic. If you get up early and start driving, that's when the best time to live in L.A. is.
Yeah. I mean, the traffic, you can't, but, you know well enough. And
all big cities are going to have it.
You're going to have it, and that's part of the, that's the yin and the yang of living in L.A. But everybody's got a fucking car. I got 4, You probably got more than one. And then you always see people alone driving. I'm
right.
one of them. So, I mean, someday a car is going to come off of Detroit. Well, I'm sorry I turned my back on you. I want to look at Steve's.
No, it's all good.
Someday a car will come out of Detroit and just go, and that'll be the last car. It'll just be all cars.
Well, I like the way they got the high occupancy vehicle lane, HOV lane, so people that carpool will drive in that lane. Nobody likes to carpool in L.A. Everybody wants to be in their car by themselves. And it always sucks when you got to carpool anyway, because you're on somebody else's schedule, a drop here, there. Maybe you work together. I carpooled enough all over the world to know that, I had a gut full of it. I want to be by myself in my own car chilling.
Yeah, you're admitting being selfish, and that's good. So am I. I'm selfish about driving to work or driving my car. And
that's my me time. That's my me time. Yeah.
Exactly. That's and by the way, if you can manage the traffic, the way to manage traffic here is to make it your me time.
Yeah.
Even if you're sitting there, I don't think I've ever used. I just got a new car in the last 3 months. I never use my horn. I never. Not even.
Dude, you don't?
No, I don't like people honking.
I wear mine out. Yeah, but check it out, Pat. Yeah, but check it out, Pat. Check it out. Check it out. At the red light. The car in front of you don't go because they got their head up their ass because they're texting on their smartphone. It's time to honk the horn, because some people will sit there for 10, 15, 20 seconds while that person finishes that text message. Not me. I can see that eye line in the rearview mirror looking down. They're texting. That's bullshit. It's illegal. They must get out of my way.
I have a friend who a guy ran him off. Guy ran in front of him, ran him off to the other lane. Okay, he let it go, and then pretty soon they got to the next corner. The guy was too slow or something, did something else to him. And finally, my friend got pissed out, pulled up next to him. He was on a motorcycle. And he pulled up next to the guy and says, "Hey, motherfucker, what are you doing?" And he really went off on the guy. It was and the guy rolled his window down and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I spent so much time fucking your wife this week, and I'm so tired." He said, "That's a good one." He said, "I'm so tired, man. I just can't focus."
Oh, that's great. Hey,
I apologize for the language.
Hey, I want to talk about you before. No, let's talk about it now. You got a podcast coming up, the Pat back again. You fixed to start your podcast here, Pat, the Pat O'Brien Show, correct?
Yes.
Now, who and what will you talk to on this show? What will be the subject matter?
Well, my life has been, from farms and ranches to, I live in New York and L.A. and Nantucket, and so I've had one of those rags to riches deal, and right. I've been up, I've been down, up more and down, thank God. So I've met a lot of people. So I like, like you, I like to, believe it or not, on all the metrosexual that you see me, I love the working man. I love that. So I like to do things that help those people. And I also like to pull back the curtain. A lot of people say, well, you're a name dropper. No, I'm not. I've been there. And I think a lot of people who listen haven't. And if they can hear stories about the people that they pay money to see, that's what my job is. So I'm going to have celebrities and athletes and probably do a lot with recovery and spirituality. It's going to pretty much be everything. We'll get into a You know, we just started. We've only done 4 or 5 so far, and we'll get into some sort of a mojo. I'm not sure what it'll be.
To all of my listeners out there, to be the Pat O'Brien Show on PodcastOne.com and iTunes, correct?
Yes, same as you.
Same as me. Check it out. It's going to be some good stuff, man. Because we were talking before we came on air. No, but you tell great stories, and that's the bottom line. That's what my listeners like to hear. Most of my guys and gals are commuting. They're building stuff. They're tearing shit up. It's construction. It's hard manual labor. And it's a way, by listening to the podcast, to just give them something to think about, something to kill the time. And so, I mean, your show sounds like it'd be something right up their alley. So check out the Pat O'Brien Show. And we wanted to talk a little bit about recovery.
Sure.
Because before we before we end this show here today, the rails, you fell off the rails, give or take around 2005, drinking too much, I guess.
Yeah.
What was your flavor? What were you doing?
Yeah, alcoholism, my father was an alcoholic, and it is a disease, by the way. When you have cancer, they have a plan. They say, well, we can chemo it, we can do this. Alcoholism, they say, you better quit.
Right,
and go through certain steps to make your life better. I drank because I drank to make people interesting, and I drank alone, which is a big problem. But I was always kind of the table, the guy you wanted to hang out with, But then it just got worse and worse. And in 2005, I was making $4 million a year, and my picture was all over Times Square. And I think what I had, in fact, I know I had that entitlement to I could do no wrong. And, I did that voicemail thing, which I was in a blackout. I woke up on a Sunday to have breakfast. I got up Sunday to have breakfast, drank, did everything, Coke and shit like that. And then I woke up 2 days later in my house with all my bosses at my bed. I have no idea how I negotiated those 2 days. I have no idea what I did. But I put it behind me, and I've put it behind me. Because I've now, when you grow up, Steve, people tell you, hey, get along with your teachers. Get along with your coaches. Get along with your schoolmates. They never tell you get along with yourself.
Right.
They never say, you know what, you got to be able to live with yourself. Because when you die, by the way, you're alone in that coffin. You're alone.
Yep.
So I fell off the rails, then went to rehab, then I fell again, then went to rehab, I fell again, went to rehab. And I finally got sober, coming up on 5 years now, and I haven't had a drink since. And I feel great. I look great. I'm
when you were drinking,
person.
what would you like to drink?
Red wine, expensive wine, expensive red wine. I loved, I could afford it. That was a problem. I had a car and driver. That was a problem. But all the problems were done by me. I take full responsibility for it. I don't blame anything but myself. But
we all make mistakes. You got to come back from a mistake. Anybody can fall down. Hey, man, it's shaking yourself off, knocking the dust off, and going, and that's what you're doing now.
When I first had a little scandal, by the way, what I did was nothing. All I had to apologize to was my son, but yet they made me apologize for an hour on Dr. Phil. When I first
you always got a story out of anything. I love it.
When I first went down and made the front page of every newspaper, Michael J. Fox called me and he said, here's the deal. He said, well, I went through some of the same things you're going through without the social media. He said, what you got to do is just fuck it and breathe.
Yeah. Fuck
it and breathe. And so we made these big paintings that say that, and we have pictures of them in our house. And every day before I got the door, right above my door, like some teams have, go win or some Lombardi quote, mine says fuck it and breathe. Because you can't, as I said earlier, you can't bring back the past. And, you can't just fuck it. You got to do the work.
Right.
But I'm good now.
What's the toughest thing or back in the day, getting sober, falling off, getting sober, falling off? A good friend of mine, Brian Pillman, no longer with us today. He used to always tell me, he goes, Steve, drugs and alcohol are patient. They wait for you.
Yeah, they're doing push-ups waiting for you, too. Yeah. And, some people can drink. Some people can have drinks, and some people can say, and I'll sit with you and have a drink. I'll go in a bar with you, and I'll have my iced tea or whatever I have, and you'll have what you have, and I'm fine with that. A lot of alcoholics can't do that. Alcoholism is an obsession and an allergy. It's a disease, a brain disease. But I drank.
Right, I'm with you. I was there.
My last day of drinking was at my house in Nantucket, and I drank 12 bottles of wine that one day. And they found me on the beach with the water coming over me.
That's a shit pile.
Yeah, and I finally realized that, my body said, give it up. I was 120 pounds. And, I was enabled along the way by many things. I didn't really get fired. They kept paying me these, and when I was in rehab, they were paying me $82,000 a week. And
right.
So there was an enablement there that allowed me to say, well, I'm bigger than this.
Right.
But you're not. Can I tell a quick story?
Oh, absolutely.
I was in a recovery meeting once, and this that I was a secretary of, and this girl, young girl, high school maybe, 17, 18. I always get a little nervous, but that gap between 17 and 18. But she never identified herself as an alcoholic or a drug addict. So after about 4 times in, I said to her, nicely, I see you every day. What's your deal? She said, my father died of alcoholism. And my father was the strongest working man that I've ever known. He worked every day, provided, but he was the strongest man I knew, and this disease took him down. And I come here, Pat, every day to find out what it was that took such a strong man down. And I think about that girl every day.
Right.
Because she's wondering, why my daddy? And I think a lot of people probably out there are saying, why my daddy? And I never said that. My dad was a drunk. And, I've sort of had this fantasy about him being a great dad, but he wasn't. He left me. I think you're from a broken home as well. And, I grew up in a broken home visiting him in the summer and that sort of thing. But he never had a fucking chance. These guys back then weren't the kind of people that would say, I need help.
When I was talking to my buddy Jay Moore, for him it was AA. Where'd you go to get cleaned up? What was it? AA? Was it a place where you check in and stay there until you are clean?
Well, no, you're never clean. I mean, you can be clean, but you're never against the next drink. I went to Betty Ford twice. I went to Promises once, and then got sober at Hazelden. And then I come out, and I do recovery every day. I did it this morning, and I'll do it tonight. I do every single day. I live my life by, accept the things you can't change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. And in between, I do the best I can.
You're staying busy. You're prime time on Fox Sports Radio, 5 days a week, 3 to 7 Eastern, with your partner, Steve Hartman.
Steve Hartman, the statistics idiot savant. He can tell you.
Guys like that, their brain works a little bit different, right?
Well, idiot savant's a compliment. Although it gets irritating. You can ask him. You can literally ask Steve, who was the backup bullpen guy for the 1929, Indians. I mean, the guy knows everything. But talk about life. He's got a different story.
with all the work that you put in with the show 5 days a week, going into the podcasting, why podcasting?
Well, my son, the great Sean O'Brien, who you'll meet because he's out here now, is a great musician and producer, and he's done really well for himself. About 5-6 months ago, he said, how come you don't have a podcast? And I never really thought about it. And then Adam Carolla, I did a show with him, and he and Mike August came up to me and said, how come you don't have a podcast? And then Norm Pattis, who was our kind of boss, said, how come you don't have a podcast? So now I have a podcast. And, I think I've got a lot to say, but...
no, you do have a lot to say. I've been listening to you for 45 minutes. You do have a lot to say. How many times? Once a week, twice a week? What's going to be the frequency?
I think we're going to probably we'll start with 1 or 2, and then how many did you do?
I'm doing 2 a week. And
that's a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a gutful.
Okay, I'm going to go 1 a week then.
Yeah, I recommend it. You're a busy guy.
1 a week.
But everybody you talk to kind of facilitates the process because you're running across people anyway, so you're in the zone. I mean,
there's nothing worse than having a guest that doesn't have anything to say.
Nothing worse than that. Thing. Well, you can fill in the gaps.
There's cancer and being paralyzed and that sort of thing, going to war. I mean, in our world, in these walls, there's nothing worse than guy. I remember Tom Snyder back in the day when he was on television.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and they're looking at. He's got this author on. The guy is just awful. I mean, the guy, he's one of those guys. You ask a question. I got a De Niro story about this.
Oh, you got to play your
anyway. Finally, Snyder said, "Well, thank you very much," and he comes back. And I'm looking at there's 9 minutes left in the show. They come out of commercial. His producer, his Mo, is sitting there, and he said, "I'm sorry, Mo. The guy was so bad, I couldn't spend them 9 minutes with him." But Robert De Niro, when I used to interview Bob a lot, and now he's great, but when he first started doing interviews, he didn't like the process. He's one of those guys who didn't like it, like McEnroe used to be, but now he loves it. And I would ask, I'll tell you, you be me, and I'm Robert De Niro. Ask me about my new movie.
Well, Robert De Niro, how's your new movie going? It looks great on the trailers. A lot of suspense in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, finally I said to him, I said, Bobby, I said, listen, I got a fucking family to raise. I said, at some point, so I said, I'll tell you what, I just played that same game with him. I said, I'll be you, you be me. And he goes, hey, Pat, Bob, what's about your movie? And I went, yeah. And he goes, that's what I do? And I said, that's exactly what you do, brother. And so, I mean, but if you don't have anything to say, really don't say it. And that's what I'm.
But on the other end of that, there's also nothing worse than the runaway freight train. You just ask them one question specifically, and they just go everywhere.
Like Robin Williams?
Well, I've never interviewed Robin Williams, but I've had a yeah.
Yeah, at least Robin's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't like the people that when you ask them, they go to a subject that they want to talk about.
Right.
They go to something in their comfort zone. Or when they can't think, if it's a comedian, they can't think of anything to say, and they just drop F-bombs.
Right.
Thinking that's cool. Or spend the entire time saying how great you are.
Right.
We know how great we are.
Right.
That's our problem.
Right.
Not yours.
We're talking with Pat O'Brien. He's coming out with the Pat O'Brien podcast. What's your Twitter handle? Let's get that out there.
Yeah, it's right now. In fact, it is POB Pat O'Brien. There are so many Pat O'Brien. That's my real name, but there are a whole bunch of them. So I took POB, which is kind of my nickname, POB Pat O'Brien, one word. And I don't have a lot of followers yet because...
Well, I'll follow you, but you got to follow me back, or I'll track you down and whip your ass.
I sent you something last night, right?
Yeah, but you got to push the follow button.
You go ahead and try it.
I'm going to get in the Zen space and come over there and track you down.
Man.
I know where you live. You told me.
I know where you live, but I got more weapons in front of me than you do. Let me see.
He's got a bottle of wine that I brought from Mike.
That's not my bottle. It's not my bottle.
No, I'm giving that to Mike. Hey, so anyway, Pat O'Brien show coming up. You're on 5 days a week, prime time on Fox Sports Radio, 3 to 7 Eastern. Like I said, going back many years ago, you took care of me every time we talked. I appreciate it. I'm glad you stopped by to talk to me. I wish you all the best on your show.
Steve, let me tell you something. The minute you were on my show about a month ago, and the minute I heard you coming on, I thought this is great. We got on the phone, and the thing about people who like each other, no homo. The thing about people who like each other is that there's a connection, and you and I had a connection. You know why? Because you're a real person, and for all the bullshit that I put in front of me and pretend, it's not pretentious. We came up the same way. It's just we took different paths. And being a real person is what it's about. You can recognize them, and I love, and you and I are going to have some fun.
All right, when you get the show going, you got to bring me on as a guest. Once
Absolutely.
you get your chops up and you're ready for me, I'm ready to come down and open up a can of audio whoop ass on your show.
My chops are up. It's just
I know.
I
I got to hassle you a little bit. I'm talking to Pat O'Brien, coming back to wrap this thing up with Mo Darwich. Going to get Pat out of here. He's got a busy day ahead of him. Find his Zen space, move forward, and proceed accordingly. Steve Austin coming back with more with Give Me Mo Darwich.
Hi, I'm Jessie Prey.
And I'm Andy Cassette. Welcome to Love Murder, where we unravel the darkest tales of romance turned deadly.
Our episodes are long-form, narrative-driven, and deeply researched. Perfect for the true crime aficionados seeking stories beyond the headlines.
Like the chilling case of Blanche Taylor Moore, the so-called Black Widow who left a trail of poisoned lovers.
Or the shocking murders of Chad Shelton and Dwayne Johnson, where family ties masked a sinister plot.
Subscribe to Love Murder on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Welcome to the Steve Austin Show.
That's right. Steve Austin coming back with Give Me Mo Darwich. Just got finished talking to Pat O'Brien, broadcasting legend, and a guy with... Man, I tell you what, when you ask for stories from that guy, you ain't got to wait for a split second because you got a bunch of them because you've been there, done that.
Oh, he's been there, done that. He's got them for days. And it's with the biggest names that you could only dream of meeting one day. He's done it with them all.
I was watching last night on YouTube, and he told the Imus story and a bunch of other stories we were talking about off air, but And the guy could have been a comedian. He's got good timing, and he's sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
As soon as you say something, that's somebody's got a response.
Man, it's really interesting because I see a lot of the people who come in here. He's a pro. The way he talks into a microphone, you could see he's been there and done that. It's like every piece of his voice is traveling into that mic, but it's effortless. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing that surprised me when I was doing my research, he was a government and economics major, whatever hell I got written down on my piece of paper here, but then ended up getting into business.
Yeah.
That wasn't his plan, and he's got that voice. Takes a long time to get that voice. I've got this damn Texas accent, damn deviated septums. I cough, hack, stutter, sound like shit, but Pat's got it down.
Yeah.
I should have told him, I said, you got a future in this business, kid. You know what I'm going to do? After we get through, I think I'm going to drive down. I got to go all the way out to Bass Pro Shop, so I'm going to get me one of them airsoft pellet guns to shoot them crows.
Oh, you know what? I
don't want to hurt them. I don't want to kill them. I just want to shut them the fuck up.
Just get one of those single pump ones where you just do a couple cranks and just put a hole in them. And then
I was there. I got one there a couple of months ago, but it's one of those ones that shoots like 1,100 feet per second. It sounds like a 22 in the front yard when I'm just cracking around shooting. So you don't want to shoot them with that. I don't want to kill the damn birds, but I just want to shut them the fuck up. Like, pow!
Man, what the hell is with you and birds?
I don't know.
You got the woodpecker fucking you.
Yeah.
You got the crows fucking you. You're going to walk out the studio. A seagull's going to shit on your BSR hat.
Man, seagulls. Yeah, they'll really, right when you go get your car detailed, right there in the Marina Del Rey, a seagull will come and shit on your hood. And my Suburban's black, so white shit on a black Suburban hood stands out. I got troubles. And I didn't even tell you about the German shepherds barking next door. My neighbor raises those German shepherds or imports them from Germany, those Schützen trained things.
Yeah.
And they're, $10, $20, $30,000 dogs. And they bark at nothing. Just someone walks by the front sidewalk, they're barking their asses off. And she don't ever, she's always gone. But those dogs, if they're supposed to be so high trained, why are they barking and everything? I'll just sit there and shut the fuck up and wait for a burglar to break in and then attack. So I'm trying to get back there and sleep. I got crows, and I got these German shepherds barking. And I hear, because her fence is right there, it separates our yard. And I can hear her. She goes, "Phooey, phooey." So phooey is either the code
word. Is she Japanese or what?
No. I think it's the code word, whatever their code word
German
is in Schützen, to get the dog to shut up.
Yeah.
So, I'm back there walking up and down my sidewalk, on the border saying, "Phooey, phooey, phooey, goddammit, shut the fuck up." And for some reason, they don't shut the fuck up when I say phooey, so maybe it's glued to her voice. But I'll tell you what, that was really starting to piss me off.
Oh, man. And then not only that, you got the film crew across the street who's always filming commercials out of that house, my friend. Welcome to California.
We had a film crew right across the street filming a commercial over in the house. Had all the street parking jacked up, except in front of my house.
Yep.
You saw that. They don't fuck with me. And then that one guy in a silver Prius parked right in front of my driveway when you left. And it was a lady. It was a guy going to the lady with the German shepherds. And I opened my damn electric gate, and I was fixed to pull out my Suburban. I saw that silver Prius sitting there, and I just went livid. 0 to 120 like that. Don't ever park in front of my driveway because I might have an emergency. Sure enough, that guy comes out of the gate. We had a little come to Jesus meeting. His hair turned white, and he pulled off.
Well, that's why you got your supercharged SUV. You'll just plow right through that.
I almost did. I thought about that. I said, "Nah, man, I got to remain calm." But you never block anybody's driveway. I understand street parking is street parking. It's Los Angeles, a big city. It's all that bullshit. But don't park in front of my damn driveway.
Let me ask you something. What would you do if you got in a room with those German shepherds? Because I have a feeling they'd stop yapping right when they got in the cage with the rattlesnake over
I'm
there.
sure I'd be cool in the gang with those German shepherds. 'Cause I'm a dog lover.
Yeah.
But I ain't never really met her dogs. I just hear them barking across the street. And so it's not like we're real good friends with that neighbor. The people next door are cool. We kind of stay to ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a dog person. Maybe I just need to go over and meet the son of a bitch and say, "Hey, my name is Steve. Y'all are bothering me. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, I think that's about all it's going to take. Phooey.
Well, you know what? It was good talking to Pat today. It's going to be interesting to see how his show does. The Pat O'Brien Show coming soon to PodcastOne.com and iTunes. And, man, that dude, smart as a whip. He's seen everything. He's going to do his research. Going to have some great in-depth conversations with some of the of sports elites. and you and me will continue hacking along here in the Human Optimization Studio. And, hey, man, speaking of Human Optimization Studios, I got a big-ass box of Alpha Brain in the mail yesterday. Onnit sent me. Man, I'm going to be the smartest motherfucker on 316 Gimmick Street.
You know, I'm calling the people up right now. I want an Onnit candy dish in here. We should have
candy dish.
Onnit candy dish.
Have you tried the Alpha Brain?
No, I haven't. I need it right now. I need it so bad.
If Onnit is listening, if his Onnit Labs is listening to this, send Mo a damn bottle of Alpha Brain so I ain't got to get him one of mine. Anyway, man, we had a great day today. I had a CGF of 10 on I-10 freeway coming into Hollywood, California. Made it here to the studios. Went into a bathroom that had not been fucked with yet. Dropped a load. Almost got finished. Dropped another load. Rode off into the sunset. Came in here and talked to my man, Pat O'Brien. Mo Darwich on Twitter. I'm Steve Austin, BSR. Don't forget to check out the Broken Skull Ranch Scope at bsrscope.com. The baddest scope money can buy. And that's all I got to say about that. Until next time, thanks for downloading. I'll catch your ass down the road. All right, everybody, I want to take a time to say thank you very much for helping us out with the Amazon.com page. You guys have been going to PodcastOne.com, been going to the Steve Austin Show page, and you've been clicking on that Amazon banner. And when you do that, you're going to the same Amazon page you're used to going to and doing all your shopping. End result is you get the same prices. Amazon just kicks us a little bit of love here at the Steve Austin Show and helps us pay our bills and keep the show on the air for free. So I want to say thank you very much for the support. It is greatly appreciated. And you can also go to BrokenSkullRanch.com, clicking on that Amazon page. It's the same thing. It kicks a little love to the Steve Austin Show. So check it out. I'm doing something real exciting. I'm coming up with my own Amazon shopping list of things that I think every guy should have. Hey, gals too. But for damn sure, every guy should have one of these things. I'm making up a list. It's going to be on the Steve Austin Show page. Once you go to PodcastOne.com, check it out. Things that guys need, as picked by yours truly. At the end of the day, I just want to say thank you for shopping on Amazon.com, helping a brother out. It goes a long way. And I appreciate it, and that's the bottom line.
This concludes another PodcastOne.com program.
Just when you thought summer couldn't get any hotter, Pluto TV is turning up the heat with thousands of free movies. Presenting Summer of Cinema. Stream your favorite blockbuster films like Gladiator.
I will have my vengeance.
Good Burger.
This is what I call fast food.
Beverly Hills Cop. The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. And Julie and Julia.
Bon appetit.
All for free on your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.